Sanibonani, welcome to my channel. Do make sure that you are subscribed and also do like the video. We are on Reality Buzz TV, where we talk about all things reality TV shows and all things reality TV show stars. You guys listen. Being a Xaba is a gift that keeps on giving. Okay, this show is done so well. It reminds me of the early seasons of Uthando Nesthembu. I really think you guys, them Selebus, have done really well bringing us the Xaba family, because I don't think that they can run out of things to share when it comes to this family, especially not in season one, because there are so many parts of this story. Now, you guys, the head of the family is Mr. Xaba, of course. He's the reason we have so many counterparts, okay? Because Mr. Xaba has been a busy man. He has many kids. And you guys, he's kind of an interesting father, okay? Now, you guys, I appreciated this episode because, number one, we did get to see Swazi interacting with one of her stepkids, which was Uti. And I was like, okay, I'm seeing another side of Swazi, because I was just seeing this, in the first two episodes. I feel like Swazi is just this stepmother that came and married the father and things like she's better than all of the other stepmothers that were left by the father, and she thinks it's like, you can't tell her nothing. So this episode, I appreciated it because it really just showed me the other side of Swazi. And I was like, okay, Swazi's not a bad person. Swazi is not a bad person. I really like the scene that they showed us between Uswazi and T. Okay, they were spending time together. Okay, even though they are the same age, but one is the stepmother to the other, but they are still able to just have a very respectful conversation, a very respectful interaction. And I did like that. Okay, I did like to see that scene. Another scene, you guys, that I really did like seeing was the scene between Mr. Xaba and one of his sons, which is Ndu. Okay, and honestly, you guys, we see a lot of reality TV in South Africa, reality TV shows in South Africa, but I don't think that we have explored the father and son relationship situation in South Africa. So Mr. Xaba has quite a few sons, okay? And I think it's going to be interesting to really see how he interacts with his sons, because it's not every relationship that is a good one. In fact, most of them, are touch and go, okay? I did say in one of my reviews that Mr. Xaba is one of those fathers that are there but not necessarily, present. He's not a father that ran away from his responsibilities, but he's also, because there are so many kids, okay, there are so many moving parts, he can't always be there. So obviously we are going to have some kids here that are probably going to be talking about how the father was not there sometimes, even though he would have liked to be there, okay? And uyilo baba lona that says, listen, this is not how you speak to me, some things are not up for discussion between me and the kids. He's that type of a father, okay? He's not a father that is like, listen, I'm going to have your say, I'll have my say, let's get an understanding. He's not that kind of a father. But I did appreciate, you guys, the conversation that we got to hear with him and Ndu, even though I really feel like they should have kept it in mind, the fact that even though they are having a conversation about what they have fought about previously, they have to remember that as the viewers, we were not there. So they were sitting and having a conversation about things that have taken place in the past, but the diary session was not giving us enough information so that we can decide, okay, is it Mr. Xaba that is wrong, or is it Ndu that is wrong? because we don't know what happened. Okay, Mr. Xaba is not happy with Ndu is not happy with Mr. Xaba, but we don't really know. So if they are assuming that as the viewers we understand why they're at a place where they are, whereas we were not there. So we were trying to piece things together. There are things that were not making sense. However, there are things that were enjoyable to watch in that reality show still, even though I feel like I just want to know more in terms of what has happened in the past between Undu and Ubabwake and Ubab. So listen, you guys, when we start with this episode, when we started watching this episode, the first scene, they were finishing up the scene Sihle and Unkulu. Just to remind everybody, Unkulu is the stepmother or the wife Mr. Xaba, but not the most recent ones. So she is the recent ex, okay? The one that lives in Avoca with the rest of the kids. And then Swazi is the current wife. So Unkulu was having a conversation with Usihle because they live together at Avoca, finishing up that conversation. Remember last week we did find out that Unkulu, her position is that they are not divorced with Mr. Xaba because she had asked for divorce from Mr. Xaba. Mr. Xaba did not want to divorce her. And there is no divorce decree because there was never any divorce. And I guess she is rightfully living at Avoca because obviously if the Avoca house belonged to her husband, then we're assuming that it belongs to her, okay? Depending on the kind of marriage that you understand, even though they haven't given the marriage in terms of like, is it in community of property, customary, civil, or whatever, they haven't given us those details. But if she says that they are married, I guess she has every right then to be at that house. But Mr. Xaba is giving a different story because Mr. Xaba told his wife, this is Swazi that told us, that Mr. Xaba had given her or shared with her a divorce decree. So according to Mr. Xaba, he is divorced from Unkulu. So we are still to find out between Mr. Xaba and Unkulu who is lying, because you can't be divorced and not divorced. It does not work like that. You can't have a divorce decree and not be divorced at the same time. Only one of those things can be true. So we are going to see who is lying between the two. So now, you guys, it's funny how when Swazi was telling the story of how she had this fight with Unkulu, I think last week I and I thought the fight was between Uswazi and Sihle. Yes, Uswazi and Sihle are fighting, but the swearing in the WhatsApp messages was between Swazi and Kulu, the ex Mr. Xaba. Now, when I was listening to Swazi's side of the story, it felt believable to me, and it felt like, okay, I understand why Swazi is upset, okay? Now, I'm listening to Nkulu. Nkulu is like telling the exact same story. She says, listen, I have never even met Swazi, and but she got upset by whatever it is that upset her, and then she started swearing at me. Okay, she must have heard some things about me at the church, and then she started swearing at me. So Nkulu is taking the same position that Swazi took, which was that she is the victim. Swazi said she was the victim of Inhlambaga Nkulu, and Nkulu says she's the victim of Inhlambaga Swazi. And I'm like, listen, at some point I'm going to need all of these people to be in the same room so that we can see who is lying and who is telling the truth. Sihle also goes on to talk about Swazi and talking about how they don't really get along, and she feels like Swazi is treating her like she's the sister wife, which is interesting because Swazi is saying the same thing. Swazi is also saying that Usihle is acting like her sister wife, okay? Now, they also get into the one issue, which is that they say that Swazi, the wife, the new wife, wanted the house yase avoka to be sold. Okay. Now, you guys, here's the thing. I was thinking about that, and I was like, when Mr. Xaba was explaining the fact that he has a house of Avoca, that, that was supposed to be the home for all of his children. If you are his child, you live at Avoca. Everybody is welcome there. But then he has another house where he lives with his current wife. I thought, perfect arrangement, because the new wife doesn't really have to worry about accommodating the stepchildren, because that could complicate things, because Mr. Xaba has many kids. So it's a perfect arrangement. You have your own house with your husband, and then that house the stepkids can live in. What would be the issue for you to want that house to be sold? Would it be because you just want to have that control situation? I wasn't really understanding Swazi's what would be Swazi's reason for that. Okay, the only thing I could think of was maybe she is irritated by the fact that an ex is still living in that house, and she's feeling like if we just sold the house, then we won't have to deal with an ex. Maybe that's the reason the ex is still feeling like she has a say in what's going on, because she still lives in that house. And remember, Swazi had mentioned that not only is Nkulu staying with her kids and some of the other Xaba's kids, she mentioned that there are kids that live in that house that are not Xaba's kids. Okay. But listen, even though I can see how that can bother Uswazi, the ex is living in the house, but I just feel like, but at least they're not living at your house. They're living at a different house. They don't come to your house. Okay, just leave them to live over there, because now if the kids don't have that home, they're gonna want to come and stay here. Isn't that a perfect arrangement, you guys? I don't know. Maybe I'll meet you in the comment section to tell me, isn't this a perfect arrangement that Mr. Xaba has set up, where he has one house for the step kids, and whoever wants to go and stay there can stay there, and then has another house for the current wife? Nobody's gonna be fighting about indlu kababa lena, nansi indlu yenu, nansi ekankosikazi wami, finished. Okay, sebeyolwa-ke maseshonile, ngoba vele maseshonile-ke boyolwa. Okay, so that's what's going on, you guys. Listen, I want this thing of Mr. Xaba being married to Nkulu to get to a point where they confront it as soon as possible, because I really do want to know, is he telling the truth? But I don't know how they're going to do it, because it doesn't look like Uswazi does get in the same room as Nkulu. And then also when the people are fighting like that, and then there's that middle person that is possibly telling the lies, it works for the liar. Okay, if Mr. Nkulu is lying to anybody in this equation, it works for him, because Nkulu and Swazi are not really talking. So Nkulu has one information, Swazi has another. It works for him. So I don't know how they can get to a point where they're in the same room and they just talk. Okay, and I think I would just swallow the ije and just be like, Nkulu, listen, girl, I know we've had some issues, okay? I think I would do it. Let's just go for coffee and talk. So tell me, what's going on? Are you guys really divorced? I would want to know. Like, I'm that person that I would rather know the truth and be hurt by the truth than think something is one thing and then later on I find out it's another. And if I think that my man might possibly not be telling me the truth, I'm going to ask that woman, girl, tell me, okay? So you guys are married? Okay. I would have done that, okay? Now, you guys, listen. T and Swazi were going out for, some pedicures, foot massages. It was a cute just outing for the two of them. They're very friendly towards each other. T is like the most pleasant of them all in the cast. From everybody that we've seen, for me, T is like the most positive, the most pleasant out of everybody, okay? she did say that in the family she does kind of take the position of being a peacemaker, and I can see how that can be, because we've seen her with Ndu, the son, we've seen her with Usihle, we've seen her with Swazi, and I think the only person that she might not get along with is Nkulu, but she does not need to get along with Nkulu because Nkulu is now an ex, okay? So she is her father's ex, so they did not have a good relationship there. So they were just talking about the whole situation. Mr. Xaba has decided that he wants to bring all of the children together, so he is deciding also for Nuklawul. Listen, you guys, I don't know. Mangaki kahle kahle abantu besilisa abahlawuli. Let's just come out and just say it, okay? Kahle kahle niyahlawula kahle kahle noma ake nikhuluma iqiniso, because why is everybody on every reality show hlawuling when they are doing a reality show? Okay? Let me just think of one reality show. Somizi's show. Bahumi over there was wanting to change his surname, and they were talking about ukuthi akahlawuliwe. That's one TV show. Musamsele over there on Uthando Nesithembu, they were talking about Sneh and Mpilo changing their surnames, and they were talking about nihlawula nini kanti nihlawula nini kanti ngathi ayikho ingane ehlawuliwe. So he wants to hlawula. I'm like, why did you wait for a realization TV? You should hlawula your kids. So he wants to make arrangements to hlawula so that he can bring the kids to get. I don't know what he's been waiting for. So now T was just finding out how is that going to be like for Swazi, because apparently she gets along with some of the children but some not, and also with the exes as well. Some he gets along with them, some she doesn't. And she says, listen, I will help him as much as possible on the side of the Xaba family, but it's not like I'll be going with him to all of these houses where he will be going to Hlaola. Okay, there are kids that T mentioned that she remembers that some of the kids bahlawuliwe, but obviously there are some abangahlawulanga. So now they talk about the homestead situation. That part confused me a little bit, okay? Because I thought I guess abantu baselokishini or edolobheni khona abantu manje eThekwini where when you ask a person ukuthi kuphi ekhaya athi umuntu avoka, and you're like, yeah, but sengisho ekhaya, and he's like, yeah, avoka, but uzalelwe. You understand? So I thought they were one of those families. So they're talking about a home, a Kanongoma, and somewhere eMangeti as well, which is Komalume Kaxaba. So there's that issue of not understanding ukuthi kahle kahle ikhaya likuphi. I guess that part we will understand better as we move along. Also just understanding why it would be important even for us to understand that. And then you guys, I guess what he was trying to figure out with Uswazi not getting along with Usihle, how are they going to be fixing that? They decided that since there is going to be Xaba's birthday party coming up, they're going to throw a birthday party, but they also have to make arrangements for Sihle and Swazi to, make amends. Okay, I really, you guys, believe Usihle knows if they can sit down and talk, they will be able to resolve their issues, because I feel like they never got a chance to talk. And Sihle has been explaining that it was her father that had asked her to do the things that she did. The things she did that upset Swazi, her father was the one that asked her. I think if Swazi understood that, and then after that they can set boundaries, okay? Listen, I'm sorry that hurt you, but it was my father that asked me to do that, and he did not tell you because he just wanted to look like he was innocent to you. But now that I know you don't want me to have relationships with people, maybe they can set new boundaries and then they can go on with their relationship. I don't feel like Sihle hates Swazi, but again, maybe I've missed it, you guys. I think one thing that might complicate the relationship moving forward is the fact that Swazi doesn't like Nkulu because Nkulu is Mr. Xaba's ex, but Sihle stays with Nkulu. So, that might be a problem. Okay. Now, you guys, the next scene Swazi did mention that she feels like Sihle is too involved in her father's umjolo. I agree. Okay, I think that you should just never know your father's girlfriend, ex, what. Some of the messages that were being sent around when we were seeing WhatsApp messages, it was talking about how long Mr. Xaba lasts in bed and all of that. The things that your kids must never, ever, ever know about you, okay? So I do feel like I agree with Swazi to say that Sihle must be a little bit too involved in her father's affairs in terms of like love life. Probably Mr. Xaba has dated some of her friends because there is a mention about her dating the father's friend. Okay, yes, we haven't reached that part, but it's coming. Okay, somebody made a comment about somebody having a baby with their father's friend. And if they are having babies with their father's friend, obviously their father is having babies with their friend too. Okay, it's a whole dysfunction. Mr. Xaba is too busy. Okay, I'll be keeping my friends away from my father if I were these daughters. Okay, so now you guys, Mr. Xaba and Undundu is the son. Okay, one of the two sons that we've met so far on the show. Now, Undu says that at some point he lived with Mr. Xaba and his wife Swazi, I guess, upon town. Because I think my understanding was that the house that they live in with their wives is in Patown. Lived with them. He had a car accident and lived with them because he needed people to take care of him. And I'm guessing that he wasn't really working at the time. And then they had a misunderstanding. He ended up moving to live Avoka. Now, his father must not have liked that. Okay. When he was explaining it last week, he said, listen, I'm an adult. I cannot have a curfew. Okay. And I was thinking, but you shouldn't even have to be worried about the curfew because you're an adult. And if you're an adult, you shouldn't really be at your parents' house. Okay. So I guess he had gone through some hard times from the, smaller information is giving. He has gone through hard times where he needed to be helped by his family, and that's why he stayed at home. But I feel like if you move back if you move back home, even if it's because you are just struggling for that time, and if your parents set the rules, you just have to obey the rules until you can move out again. But he says that he felt like they were treating him like he was still a child. He had to have a curfew. His father wanted him to be home by a certain time, wanted him to go to church, wanted him to do this and the other, and he couldn't do it. And he felt like he was being controlled, so he moved. Okay. So both their relation, both Mr. Xaba and Du never really resolved it. Okay, so now they are sitting down now to talk. This is the conversation that I'm saying it was a good one because I feel like it's going to be good to see issues of father and son on a reality show where people are making an effort to work on things because we don't see it. We've longed for it on Uthando table and we don't really see it, okay? When a father puts his foot down, okay? We don't see it on Uthando table. It's different over here, you guys. It's very, very different over here. So, but I think the issue with this scene was that I was trying to, because when you watch a show, you want to be able to sort of decide who's okay. which side am I taking here? Okay, who is right, who is wrong? Even if you want to walk away feeling like they're both right, but you want to know why. And because we don't have enough background, the diary session is not giving us enough background for us to be able to say, yeah, no, Undu was wrong, okay? Or no, Mr. Xaba is wrong. So, that there was a difficulty about this scene. So when they sit down, first, when Do comes in, I was like, okay, there is that thing, Yogutu Baba Lona. They don't have that relationship. Yeah, hey, Baba, sharp, It's like, yo, Baba Club. It's like, Baba, Baba Club. They have that relationship where you almost feel like a child is scared of his own father. The relationship that in our generation had with our parents, where it's not that you did not love them, but besibasaba abazali, let me say that, besibasaba thina abazali. Bekuyinhlonipho enokusaba more than respect. Irrespect came with wewasaba abazali. So a conversation with your parent was not an easy thing to have. So I'm guessing here that Tundu is going through that as well. So and I guess he was the one that called the meeting, because Mr. Xaba started by saying, what do you want to say? Okay. And Dundu was expressing that he just feels like izinto are not right between the two of them, and he wants to resolve izinto. And there was a lot of tension, because Ubabka was like, when he was talking, he was like, oh, I'm not going to add anything else, okay? And listen, all along on the show, we've seen Mr. Xaba being all friendly, but in this scene right here, he wasn't playing, okay? He is the type of father that says, listen, if you're not going to listen to me as your father, if you're not going to listen to me, if you're not going to respect me, you can F off, okay? I'm not going to have you control me. That statement, okay? So I did not feel in that scene. Maybe some of you will make me see something different in the comment section. I did not feel like Du was disrespectful in that conversation. I felt like what Du is trying to communicate to his father is that the things that you want me to do, I don't have the conviction to do those things. Like, for an example, go to church. I know that you want me to go to church, but I'm not going to go to church just because you want me to go to church. I am not convicted of those things. I don't have those convictions that you have about going to church. Can we have a relationship where I can just live my life the way that I want to live my life, and you live your life, but we can still have a good relationship? I feel like Mr. Xaba is like, there's only one right way, which is you have to live this way, go to church, and then when I tell you to do something, you do it. Okay. Now, there is a mention here of Smamane. And at some point, there was a mention of two brothers that passed away. And I think Smamane must be like one of the brothers that passed away that was very close to the father. Okay. And Mr. Xaba said that, why can't you be like him? Okay. Meaning that he was the one that did things the way that Mr. Xaba expected things to be done. During the diary session says, the reason Mr. Xaba says that he wants Du to be like Smamane is because Smamane sacrificed himself. Smamane sacrificed himself to make his dad happy. So now the dad expects Du to do the same. Du is like, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to be myself. I want to live my life the way that I want to live my life. But I also want to have a good relationship with my dad. So he is saying, I know what he means when he's saying that I should be like Smamane, but I also know that Smamane was sacrificing himself. That's the reason Dad loved him so much. It's a complicated thing, you guys. I did not like that Mr. Xaba did that, the comparison between the sons. But I also felt like in our families that happens a lot. In our families, that happens a lot. You get compared a lot, and sometimes the parent is not really meaning to hurt your feelings, but they are just meaning to say, look at your brother, if you can just do what he does. Look at your sister, if you can just do what he does, you would also, that will please me if you do what your sister does, what your brother does. But they don't realize what it does to you when you are being compared to your siblings. It's like they are saying, it's not enough to just be you. You have to be her, or you have to be him for me as a parent to accept you. Okay. And but do just once. He says he wants some freedom. Here's my problem with Do, though. I kind of feel like Bro needs a job, because his father was mentioning that he was asking for money and Swazi was sending him some money. And I was like, brother, it cannot be that you want freedom, but then you want money from your father. It cannot be that you are sitting there saying that your father's wife is too young to have a relationship with her, but then you're asking her for money. Like, choose. Are you an adult, independent, wanting to not have a curfew and not wanting to be controlled, that makes his own money, or do you want to be a child? Go and live in Pinetown with your father then. Go and live with Swazi and your father and be controlled. I was like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, okay? I was like, Like, if you want really be independent now, okay? I guess, though, you guys, the cast will be making money from the show, so I guess now he is employed. But we would like to see another job, okay? Everybody, when they do reality shows, they start doing DJing or something, okay? So I'm thinking Do must just do some DJing, modeling. He looks good, okay? He's good looking, so I don't know if they can book him for modeling or something, but he needs to start making money. I just feel like it doesn't work if you're going to say to your parent, I want to be independent, but then you are asking your parent for money. So I was in support of Undu saying, I want to be myself. Things that you are convicted about, especially when it comes to church. Like the things that you are, I'm not saying you are wrong for wanting me to go to church, but I don't have the conviction that you have about going to church. I was in support of that. But I also feel like your parents should have a say in your life if they are still financially supporting your life. Yes, you guys. So, listen, their conversation didn't go so well, but I still feel like I need more to even know what is wrong with the relationship, Mr. Xaba and Do. But I still appreciated that scene. I really do. I think that we don't see a lot of fathers and sons having conversations. And against all odds, you guys, I'm hoping that their relationship is worked out. And I say against all odds because which reality TV show have we seen where families have come and done reality shows, and after the reality show, the family is better? Like, the relationships are better? None. Okay? None. If you care about your family and they ever offer you a reality show, don't do it. Don't do it. There isn't a single family that has done a reality show that we have seen where after they do a reality show, especially more than one season, that's why it's one season, you just show them your life and then that's it. The next season, they start getting desperate for storylines, and then relationships get more and more destroyed. So most of the time, reality shows are not good for families. Relationships are worse after they do reality shows. Anyway, you guys, that was the episode for today. I really am still thinking the Xabas are the best show we have, and I'm liking the fact that we got it in December. We are usually bored in December when it comes to reality TV shows, but I really am loving the show. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it. Before Pumegona, let's meet in the comment section. Share the video with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers in Tanda. Cool.